Hello. Hi. Good evening. Um, Welcome to tonight's Art Plus film. I'm Jenna Rain Warwick. I'm one of the First Nations curators at ACME, and I'm joined with Serwah Attafuah.
Hey. Oh, yeah, we are on.
We're on.
we
we're
were
on.
debating that.
I also just want to pay my respects to the mob in the country down here, and we are next to the Burrong, the river that runs through the city and divides the city from north to south. That's the lands of the Wurundjeri people, Wurrung people. Pay my respects to their old people, past and present, and acknowledge my ancestors. I'm a Luritja woman, and from a matrilineal line of Central Desert women. I'm trying not to say too many times, but I'm joined with Serwah tonight. Serwah is the 2023 recipient of the Mordaunt Family Moving Image Commission for Young Australian Artists. The Mordaunt Family Moving Image Commission's Young Australian Artists, and is created in partnership with Simon Mordaunt, Katrina Mordaunt, John Alsop from Web Directions, and ACME. We've just recently opened up The Darkness Between the Stars, which is down in Gallery 3. Hopefully you've made some time to go and see it. If not, please go see it after we've had this chat. Serwah is a multidisciplinary artist and musician based in Western Sydney. She creates surreal cyber dreamscapes, heavenly wastelands populated by Afrofuturistic abstractions of self. With strong ancestral and contemporary themes, she works with various mediums, including digital painting, 3D animation, motion capture, NFTs, and virtual reality. Attafuah's practice is influenced by her personal experience of growing up as a black woman in Australia, as well as an interest in mythology, sci-fi, spirituality, and technology. She aims to challenge the stereotypes and expectations of blackness and femininity to create new narratives and possibilities for herself and her community. The newly commissioned work by Serwah is an Afrofuturistic commentary on the resilience of West African Ashanti people originating from present-day Ghana. And this work links spiritual customs of the Ashanti people to contemporary global trade, the internet, and connects the plundering of West Africa's natural resources and the slave trade to the violent foundations of European empires. There's 5 video moving image works with bespoke gold e-waste frames, a large ocean projection, and an original soundscape. I thought we might just go through and watch each clip or each moving image and talk to them. Is there anything you wanted to say about the exhibition as a whole before we get into the 5 clips or moving image works?
I think let's just get into the clips. They'll probably come to me. It's hard to sort of... Yeah, I think that was a good summary, but yeah, let's dive into it, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll play a Nancy and we can kind of talk over it as well while it's playing, because there's some... I think your work, it's, and I've said this before, it is that Afrofuturistic style aesthetic, but there is so much to it. And when I came and visited you in your Western Sydney studio, I was like, amazed by all the references and so much
Clutter.
but there's so much to the work. And I wondered if you could even speak a little bit to what a Nazi is, that phrase. And, we can see that there is spider webs. There is this moving spider. There's this kind of skull within that corner. Yeah. Is there any... And then maybe a bit about how you went about making it.
Yeah, for sure. So, sorry. Anansi is like he's got like a spider body and a boy's head, or some combination of the two. Like, he kind of embodies different arachnid forms.
It's a bit of a trickster.
Yeah,
hey?
he's a humanoid sort of spider kind of guy. Yeah, he's a little trickster. I'm trying to compare it to something in like Western, maybe like leprechaun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He's sort of like funny, magical. He's sort of there to teach kids or really anybody like certain fables or certain lessons. Like he kind of gets himself into trouble and then you know, either gets help from his friends or his crazy little magical powers and stuff. So my parents used to read me those stories, or my dad actually, like a lot of the time, like when I was younger, we would travel around more like the east coast or like the northeast coast of Australia here, and he would do like storytelling. So he would at different festivals like Pete's Ridge Festival, Bellinger, and all kinds of ones like that. That's why I have like no interest in going to like anything like Splendor and Grass anymore. I used to get dragged to these sort of things, but he would like play drums and then like tell those stories and sing them and dance, and teach people about these stories. So this is kind of like my manifestation of Anansi, who that sort of trickster, sort of jester, almost like kind of guy. But this one,
and that's West Africa kind of, or is it all over?
mostly Ghana, and Ghana, and I would say like because I guess
the
these
diaspora, like through the Caribbean, and
the Caribbean has really big ties to Anansi and a lot of Ashanti culture. Like they may have you know, built it into their own interpretation or given it them their own names and stuff, but it's sort of originated there as they've been moved to other places of the world.
Yeah, I love how you kind of, it's like reference if you know kind of thing, and it's in those cobwebs, but it's again kind of not hidden, but it's not like the main kind of thing. It's this like gorgeous like warrior woman. Can you speak to a little bit, I guess, the way that I see each of those moving image works? You know, they're these portraits of these embodied women. Can you speak to a little bit about what that represents? Or, you know, like they're also just like really hot and sexy too.
I think I gotta make hot people in the artwork. I don't know. I don't know. But for me, art's got to be nice to look at too. Ghana's a matrilineal society or culture, so you actually you should get your name from your mother's side rather than from.
That's like nurture culture too. We're matrilineal too.
That's the way to go. You see, my kids are gonna get my name. No, not the other way around. No. My husband's gonna get my name. But yeah, even the women were mostly the like. Prominent warriors. There's another piece, I guess we'll talk about that when we come to that. But most of the culture actually, or society actually, revolves around women, which is really cool. Yeah.
When I was doing the research for your work, it was really, I think I kind of got those influences, obviously, just like, you know, like the Marvel Black Panther kind of things. But I didn't realize how true, and that it was so like during those the Anglo-Ashanti wars during like the late 1800s to just 1920s, where really recent, where Africa was being pretty much divided up for European empires to extract the minerals, and that big wars were, a lot of them were led by these really powerful women figures. 100%. I guess we'll get into more of that, but it was such a deadly thing to find out and kind of get into it.
It's crazy, and I feel, Ghana really only got its independence, I believe the 1950s or 60s. Funnily enough, like my dad's the only way my dad can remember my birthday is that it's Ghana Independence Day there, and it's my birthday here, so 6th of March there, 7th of March here. That's the only way he can remember. He's like, happy Independence Birthday, fake
Which
wrong emoji, question mark, like just bunch of junk, Serwah. Like
which comes first, Independence Day or birthday?
He's usually tipped off by all the people back home giving him like really weird AI WhatsApp images of like Independence Day word art sort of stuff. So that's the only way he can remember.
Too.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, recent, very recent.
Yeah. It seems like there's at the moment there's insert like a real push for independence from all different African countries at the moment. It's a real like inspiring to see as well too.
Yeah, and I say it's independent, but it's still sort of like here. There's the like the work like
you
you
can
know,
say
there's
it, but
still
the
no
chains and the impacts of colonialism is still very much felt.
corruption. Like I feel like the continent's still being divided up, and you know bits and pieces are getting moved around and stuff. But with Anansi, this particular version of Anansi too, I think my interpretation of it is bringing in Sakawa, which is like is kind of like an internet magic. We call it internet magic. So have you ever been texted by um a fake ATO, like tax agency, or hi, I'm just here from Korea. My name's Lucy. I'd really love to meet up with you. Send me a photo and like a gift card. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's
Which also I love that kind of ties into like the female, like you know, like text me back. I'm a hot girl.
Well,
kind
a lot
thing.
of them are now like run by females. Like I watched this really cool. I think
maybe we should get into the next one and then also then talk, because we've got so much talk about Sakawa as well.
I know.
Should we go on to the next moving image work? Yeah, I've got Joanne.
Oh yeah, you guys are the first to hear all the, I guess, working titles I've been working off too.
This is
Joan.
but Joan.
This one's like based off of to do with the matrilineal society, like, and the Anglo-Ashanti wars, which was that war that ran from like the 1800s to the early 1920s. That we had like the most prominent, I guess, war chief or like warrior was called Yaa Asantewaa, and she was just awesome. She was like, I'm not gonna sit by.
She's staunch as when I was reading about her, it was like so. It like
awesome,
moved me so much.
She just was like on her horse and just like shooting things like to try and capture back people that had been taken, and
someone who could really see the foresight of like what was to kind of come, almost like where
100%.
You know, if we lose that kind of ground, like what is gonna happen, you know.
Yep.
And I really related that to like, you know, the invasion wars here as well.
Totally.
And I think we had so many like interesting discussions as well in Western Sydney too about the kind of similarities.
Lots
and
of similarities.
The kind of maybe those uncelebrated people who had like literally fought physically, spiritually, in so many different ways.
For sure. And I think it definitely is. I remember reading something about how like, and I believe this is the right thing, like they tested eugenics in Africa before they brought it out to other places of the world, and then ending up here.
I mean, models of colonial dispossession, it's like tested and like do it, and it's just like in America as well with Native
100%.
Americans. It's like, and then finally,
Yeah, it's been crazy.
But for this, it's also like the swords, the weaponry that you're kind of use. Also, I really thought that the flowers were Waratah flowers, and I thought that
they're similar.
They're similar, and I was like, oh, that's such a deadly connection to be able, because that's obviously like a really important medicine plant, and it's the state flower of New South Wales. Similar, and apparently they have
Protria is the name of the family, right?
Yeah, they're like cousins from like a long time away, but not necessarily native to Africa, but they're they look really similar.
We have pretty much species of like different species of the same families in both places, which I found was really interesting.
It's like they'd kind of diverged.
Yeah. Did I tell you I was like all on like microcontinent and like all the breaking up of the world.
Oh, like Gondwana and like
pre that.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
I don't even know how I ended up there.
Yeah.
But it was very fascinating. Yeah, I learnt that and the name's going to escape me now, but where West Africa kind of had been connected to, I want to say Valabaria.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway.
And I'm not pointing. I'm like in my mind. I'm like West Africa is over there. Yeah.
I don't know, but I was just like, why have I not thought of thinking about that before? That's really interesting. Yeah, But Joan of Arc, yeah, she was
This is
another.
referencing Joan of Arc. Or
Yeah, I don't know. When I was going through each, like at first, I was going through each of these. There was actually probably closer to 10 different characters or different stories that I was trying to imagine. I was like, okay, we can't make 10 of them. That's gonna be too. We're not. They're not gonna fit
when
on
I
the
first
walls.
saw all
Yeah, I
your
think
ideas, I was like, okay,
I think when
what
I
are we gonna
first
do
pitched it
about
to you
this?
guys at the pitch meeting before
Yeah.
I actually got accepted, I was like, yeah, I'll make 20 of them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
could you?
We gotta dream big, and then you kind of
I was like,
condense
yeah, I'll
it.
make
And I
20
feel
of
like
them,
you
yeah,
took the best bits, maybe, or you took
Yeah.
bits that were really like really strong and kind of like weaved them through
For
the
sure.
5.
That's what I mean. Like there was so many similarities in Ghanaian culture and so many other different places, as well, like pop culture and things like that. Like almost the same archetypes or the same narratives keep playing throughout history over and over again, which was really.
What was that? There was that story you were saying about the sword in the.
Oh yeah, that's in the King Arthur one.
Oh,
yeah.
that's in the King. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
wait to talk about
Yeah.
them. Cool. And also like the architecture and almost those cityscapes that you're alluding to in the background as well. That's what is that kind of in reference to? Or
Just sort of like, I guess I don't. The name's going to escape me right now, but I guess the mud sort of housing, or even not necessarily mud housing in Ghana. When I went there in 2018, I was really quite taken aback by like people. I feel like people here. I've really frothed it. It was just like half built, like clay like almost
like natural materials.
yeah, or just concrete
Oh yeah.
buildings that were like built in like very interesting brutalist styles, but they just never would finish them. And I was
It's like
literally
dream
surrounded
big,
them.
dream big.
Yeah, and then they're just like, nah, it can't be. But like they'll put up the like half the structure, like yeah, or they'll just end up fighting it. Like I know my dad's got 3 or 4 of them getting set up, and he keeps sending them money.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're almost finished, and
But
send
what
me
about another
check.
one?
And then they're like, yeah, I think we need a couple hundred more, and But yeah, it's sort of like based off those sort of like brutalist, half abandoned,
like
I don't know,
remnants.
just
Are people living
yeah.
in them or
No.
no. Something more.
One of my stepdad's family it's really. I've got this sick. I think it's still on my Instagram. Like my brother, we visited them and they had this like basketball hoop that was just made of like bricks and different pieces of timber, and
The
I think
ingenuity.
a piece of like a bucket with a hole in it, and I've got him doing like the Jordan pose or whatever. I gotta make lots of money off that because it was a really good picture.
Yeah.
It's really sick.
That could be in like an ad or something.
I think it could.
Deadly. All right. Should we move on
Yeah.
to the next one? We've got a few to go through, and then we've
Mhm.
also got a really cool like behind the scenes, the making of. We're obviously just talking about the actual moving image works here, not necessarily the frames. We'll get into the frames a little bit. There is also that really large ocean projection as well, but we might get to the next one, the king. I guess it's referring to the King Arthur.
Yeah, King Arthur, and this sort of stuff blew my mind. I don't know. I feel like I spent a lot more time researching everything and just really trying to get a grasp on it. But this is it's supposed to represent King Arthur, like I don't know. I still can't understand.
Which
Is
first?
that guy real? Is that motherfucker real?
Yeah.
Sorry, it was
No.
Is he a real person?
Apparently,
That's what they say, but I can't find any.
it's one of those I don't know,
Exactly.
inconclusive.
Is
It's
he,
kind of like the
Narnia
story
man.
becomes the realness, I guess.
Yeah,
But there's a real reference. There's almost a similar, identical
So
story
similar, yeah, there's
in
this
Ghana.
guy called
And you're like, he is
Akunfo.
real.
He's a real person. There's swords there. So with for people who don't know, I don't even know why, but King Arthur put his sword in the rock, Excalibur, and they say that nobody can get it out.
The one who gets it out is the next king.
That's what they say, yeah. And then in Kumasi, which is like, I don't know. We've got Accra, which is the capital city, and Kumasi's like the next sort of big main city in Ghana. He lodged his sword in the ground, and they've never been able to take it out. It's still there right now. But he was sort of like a priest or a judge sort of figure. He instated a lot of like spiritual laws, not laws per se, but um,
Like a leader, like a
yeah,
real, like
like
a
a
prominent
leader, sort
somebody.
of,
Look, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, interesting. And also, I really like the kind of references to the different architectural,
Yeah.
like almost the Grecian, Roman kind of pillars there.
Mm.
And also like it is that kind of very hyper pop style. You have a very obvious style. I guess I can tell it's definitely your work. And can you talk a little bit about like why the internet, the e-waste that comes through in this? The first one that we saw, there's those chat GPT kind of scripts, there's those
Yep.
computer screens, like, and obviously the e-waste frames, but you were talking about and earlier when I introduced you, it was saying about the taking of the natural minerals of from Ghana and from in Africa to kind of make our technology. Can you talk a little bit about like Agbogbloshie or
Yeah, 100%. So Agbogbloshie is it's a massive, I wouldn't even call it a neighborhood, massive area in Ghana. My parents wouldn't let me go there when I was there, and it's probably for the best. I probably wouldn't come back real sick, but
Well, I remember you were saying that even if you could live there, not necessarily know it was there, or there were.
oh yeah, people don't know. Like people live in Ghana and they don't really even know that it exists. But it's basically just like an area that they call Sodom and Gomorrah. Also, it's literally hell. It's just kilometers of burning e-waste. People. You know when you like drop off your phone in like your old mobile phone or battery or something in those drop off box, like
And
red
it gets
cycle or something.
recycled somewhere.
Usually, hopefully that they do recycle it. I actually did work at a place where we did recycle e-waste, and that's kind of where I got my love for like motherboards and stuff like that. It was so much fun.
Like the material of it,
Yeah. We would like make different things out of it, but oftentimes Western countries like us will send them to particularly Ghana, but all kinds of countries or regions similar, and there's nowhere for them to. There's nothing for them to do with it apart from like burn the stuff that's not
the
valuable
plastics
per
and
se, yeah, and survive off that.
mm.
So it's super crazy, and it's just totally toxic. It doesn't just affect them, physically, the land, the economy, everything. It affects all of us. Like that's a massive reason why we've got climate change and
It's
no
like the health
resources and stuff.
of the country, the health of the people.
Totally.
And when I was reading it, predominantly, migrant workers coming from the north or coming from elsewhere outside of the that area to work and and they want to make a little bit of money,
Yep.
burn down the plastic, get the the valuable bit, and to sell that on again.
It's cents. It's not even probably even cents. It's like the average wage in Ghana.
And they're living in that area too.
They're literally living in like. I remember I went near, maybe a couple kilometers from Agbogbloshie, Sodom and Gomorrah, to visit my dad. It's really close to the ocean too, like where my dad used to work in the seaports, and there was this tree. God, I wish had a photo of it here. Somebody was living. Had pitched up like this crazy structure where he just had like 25 flat screen TVs and just created this wall around this tree and then put a tarp over the top of it. So that was his walls, just like 20 plastic to big flat screen. You know you see
You use what you have just to make a wall.
yeah, and he's just living like that. That was the most cyberpunk thing I've ever seen. It was so sad yet so cool at the same time. Yeah, it was like pretty speechless, but it's a great photo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of, I feel like that kind of dynamic is really within your work too. It's like this hyper, really pop, really like finished, really sexy women, powerful women, but obviously alluding to and like referencing just the kind of effects of colonialism and the ongoing effects of the extraction of wealth from Africa, I guess. And it's that one thing, it's like you put your phone away, it's out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Yeah, but We might move on to the next one, but
For
I
sure.
love that that's like kind of referencing the King Arthur. But it's like which one came first?
That's what I wonder too. Yeah, because it did blow my mind when I first learned about the first slave castle being built in Ghana, in my dad's hometown, in 1482. Like that really shocked me when I learnt that years ago. I was like, wow, that's really like half a millennium, more than half a millennium ago, right? Century? No,
1400. Yeah,
I
I don't know,
didn't
but that's
do math.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
And within the exhibition design, that doorway that you walk through, is referencing an element of some of those castles, in the what maybe the enslaved Africans may see the last. Can you talk a little bit about the door of no return?
Yeah. So in Ghana was the Ghana was the first place these slave castles were built in Africa. But basically, when European countries would, set up shop there to run their slave trades, or farm or do whatever mining that they were doing, they would build slave castles. So
On the coast, all hey.
Yep. It's literally exactly what it sounds like. It's a big castle, big stone, usually stone structure, right on the beach, with cannons pointing outside. So underground level would be dungeons where it would be hundreds, if not thousands, of slaves just packed in, like tuna or sardines in a can. I remember when I went there, you could see the demarcation line of where blood and bodies and um, human waste had gotten up to, and it was really confronting. But yeah, they would be held there for so many days or weeks or months or years even, and then when it's time for them to go through the transatlantic slave trade or whatever other slave trade they were sent on, they would walk through the door of no return, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a door facing the ocean where the boat would be, and that's the last thing that you would see of your own homeland. Yeah.
And it's like reading it's quite a significant almost spot for a lot of to travel to for a lot of African enslaved descendants and the diaspora from America and elsewhere to almost bear witness to that, as violent as all those
For
awful
sure.
memories that
It's
history
a
comes up.
homecoming for them. I don't think it would have been there. I don't know. I've heard mixed things. It probably depends on. There's hundreds of these slave castles across the coast of Africa, maybe even thousands. But above it, it said the door of no return in as a plaque. And now when you go back through it, like facing the slave castle from the ocean, it says the door of return. So
Yeah,
people.
which is like almost like a reclamation, like you come back and you come back
Exactly.
to Afro. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you're welcome home now. Like there's this big movement going on now there. Anybody from the diaspora is
that's it.
welcome
Those
to come.
passports.
Yeah, they're welcome to come and be a citizen, buy land, come and
Ghana
learn
especially, I've seen that's like
it's
the big.
really big there. Yeah, my parents are always like, you should go back and live there and stuff. I'm just not ready, like at this state of my life right now.
Yeah,
But it's really awesome to see
yeah,
such a massive group of people not only want to find that place where they can feel back at home, but it's really awesome that the government there's working to welcome everybody and things like that. It's really important.
yeah. Can you? Thank you. Thanks for
It's okay.
talking about. Can you talk a little bit about this one? What is
Ophelia.
Ophelia? Am I right? I may be in that the pond or the lily waterway there. Is that referencing those crocodile ponds, or is
Sort
that?
of, yeah. That one didn't end up.
No, that was not one.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's kind of is.
So many references I remember taking.
Oh
note
my
and
God.
looking, researching.
I did full HSC style and got the Windsor and Newton A3 book out and stuck every single stupid thing that I wrote down in there. But this one's more about the oil sort of trade in West Africa.
Because is that the oil?
I thought you were knitting for a second. I was like, that's really cool. I was like, that's a good idea.
There's like the oil in the background, like the oil. Is that what that is?
Yeah, so my mum is Dutch, and I won't lie, they were pretty bad colonizers. But I do really one of my favorite, I guess, genres of art is the Dutch Golden Age. So trying to that windmill back there is supposed to be like my own cyber futurist sort of version of a like a oil rig, but make it like Dutch Golden Age, like Depression sort of scene. Yeah, that was. This is sort of my interpretation of a
I know that makes
Dutch
sense
Golden
now.
Age sort of image. Yeah, but she's supposed to be in like a bank of oil, petroleum.
Right.
Yeah, because there's I think I showed you a one of those Vice where there's a lot of really cool like piracy that goes on. I don't like it when they sort of kidnap, innocent victims, but kidnap the damn corporations, because it does get to the point where it's like there's a lot of issues, but where it affects the Ghanaian people or the people of West Africa more than climate change is they have no jobs, because these sort of like small rivers and stuff and like creeks and things like that, the fish all die because it's just like Shell doesn't care, BP, it just ends up like, so long as they can get what they need, that it doesn't matter if it pollutes everything.
And if that's your livelihood, where you might make money, market, and also for food as well.
Yeah, it's
you're
just
desperate. What are you gonna turn to?
Yeah, so they turn to like heavy guns, like internet Sakawa scams. Like it's just it's like it's not even a chicken and an egg sort of question. It's like we know what the issue is. If there was like,
it's like survival by any means possible.
Yeah. It's not you guys are corrupt and you don't want to work and you're lazy Africans and stuff like that. Like I've heard all that. It's like, no, if there was like,
pretty sure they're not lazy. They're
industrious as hell. Have you
seen any way to make money?
There's this crazy pirate called Black Devil. He's got some. He's in that hustle mindset. I kind of respect it. I gotta work as hard as him. And his 50 pirates, but yeah, I respect it.
Maybe we'll go on to the last one, Venus, and then maybe we can talk a little bit of like actually how you've kind of made these works, a little bit of like the technology that you're using. I love this one.
This one, to be honest with you, this one was like the one I was least happy with. Weirdly, I don't know. There was another version of this that I'd worked on where it was, I really wanted to highlight the slave castle more.
And that's what that's referencing
that
in
side
the
structure there, yeah. But I'm happy with it. But yeah, there was another iteration of it that was more like a speaking to kind of what an experience I had when I first visited there, and I got really sick. I reckon I got cursed, actually. Like, I actually am so genuine, like 99% sure. But my whole world was spinning when I entered the building, and like I was going blind, and like it was really crazy, losing my hearing.
Is this in one of the castles?
In the slave castle, yeah. So it was sort of like a MC Escher sort of labyrinth style. There was like staircases coming out of the ceiling sort of thing. But yeah, maybe I'll do another piece that ends up like this. But Venus, yeah, you think of like Birth of Venus, sort of similar thing. We have a character called Mummy Water, who is kind of, it's pretty much exactly the same sort of mythology.
Like the fertility almost, or
like a Neptune sort of Mother Earth, but in a mother, like, it literally turns out to like Mother Water.
Yeah.
Water being life, the womb, things like that. But yeah.
How did you make these works?
These were all done on my computer.
Yeah.
I made them all like I guess they all end up in a program called Cinema 4D, and I render them with Octane. Um, it's like a general 3D software, but don't take that advice. Use Blender, please. Like, don't be like me and pay for software like that, because Blender seems to be just as good. And yeah, the characters are done in like ZBrush, which is like a sculpting tool, and Daz Studio, which is free, and I've been using that. software.
You have like 3 screens, hey.
I have,
when I
like-
was
I have,
like,
like,
whoa, this
70
is like a
screens in
mission
my-
control.
Yeah. I've got like a 50-inch screen. It's crazy. Yeah.
You
there's-
seemed at ease, but it gave me of anxieties sitting behind
I could
you.
see how anybody could get anxiety. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and there's like 100 million tabs and files. Like,
You're
the
like, let me
whole-
just bring this up.
the-
Do it.
Oh my god. The whole entire like everything that I did for this, apart from the damn physical things, ended up being like over 1.8 terabytes.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are like lots of files, lots of things that didn't come, out in the final videos and images and stuff. But yeah, a lot of trial and error too. A lot of video is not my. I'm trying to get more comfortable with video. Video has like never been my. I don't know. I feel like I can express myself differently in stills as to videos. Like they both have their different sort of, I guess, expectations with myself, or like from myself. So yeah, just trying to trial and error on different things in video here. But yeah.
Before we go on and maybe watch the BTS kind of behind the scenes.
I haven't seen this
is
footage too. So
you've seen bits of it,
I've
hey?
seen like 20 seconds. Yeah.
Which will be like like the
Exciting.
making of the frames, and then we've got a little bit of the footage of the end of. We can see those screens.
Yep.
But can you talk a little bit about the large projection ocean scene that's not we haven't shown here, but that's within the gallery, and that is referencing that ocean maybe that the enslaved people may have seen the last of before, on their journey. And can you also talk maybe a little bit about the audio, the soundtrack a little bit? But yeah, that projection piece, I love how it goes. It's like kind of day to night or night to day.
The projection's literally like that was one of the strongest images of being at any of the castles that I went to, was just looking through the door of no return at the ocean. And I had also pictured I could see sort of like different holes, like small holes in the wall or cracks through wood and stuff like that, and I sort of tried to put myself in those people's shoes about what they might be seeing, and try and put you in that sort of space that you could experience if you were there. But yeah, sort of turning it on its head, almost, of like trying to make not make it a positive thing per se, but trying to
Well, it's like
make
acknowledging your past, but also like not re-traumatizing your own self or re-traumatize or like.
Yeah, or trying to make. I was speaking to Tanisha this morning that works with you guys, and she said she was really moved by it about.
Yeah. She
she
had
needed to-
Mauritian roots and was really loved the work and really touched by it. And I could see it was. Yeah, I had a great conversation about her too.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in them. I don't want to. It's almost like just trying to create a sense of calm or a sense of sanctuary in a place that's usually quite threatening per se.
Well, it reminds.
Does that make sense?
No, it does, because it reminds me a lot of the contemporary Indigenous work, and in my own practice working with archives that can be deeply, violent and really traumatizing, and kind of situating in a way that you can acknowledge that history and engage with it and not be so
negatively impacted by it, I guess.
Yeah, and I think a lot of my work too is like with my interpretation of Afrofuturism is like, putting positive light on traditions and things that we've gone through, even if those things may have never happened. So a lot, like, in some of these images, like, we didn't have a good outcome at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the Anglo-Ashanti wars, like, we're still fucking living in the same sort of situation, really. Like, Independence Day really didn't mean anything, but this is sort of my, like, different sort of, like, this is for I call them my future ancestors. They're for my kids, you know what I mean? To try and give them something. Like, it may not have, we may not have had the best outcome, but we can still look to the future and try again, should something happen.
Yeah, deadly. And the soundscape, it's like almost Gregorian chants, or it's like what it
chants,
it's really it kind of makes it a religious experience almost being in there, even though you know it's hyper pop and it's very of your aesthetic. It references it's the
Litany of the Saints.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
I don't know how I heard that.
It's quite
song.
pop. Somebody knew what it was when we were when I
awesome.
took the VX some stuff in there. Someone was like, "Oh yeah, this is I know what this is." Probably yeah.
Oh my
So-
god, a Catholic. Yeah, I think also with that Litany of the Saints track, I was sort of thinking also about what you might be hearing if you were within the walls of the castle. They would usually actually have a church right on top of the dungeon, which I thought was very strange.
Wild.
Yeah, and they would actually have a trap door where they would look at them and spit on them and then close the door as well. How insane is that? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of just Catholicism and Christianity goes hand in hand with a lot of colonial
yeah,
exploitations.
yeah, for sure. I don't know. Yeah, the song has really interesting lyrics. I do really like it, and it yeah, I'm trying.
I love that you. I do like that you chose like a work like that and like not something that was even like a lyrics or was almost It's quite therapeutic to be in there too.
Yeah, I tried to also. I put a lot of like ocean sounds. I was trying to get my stepdad to send me. He's in Ghana right now getting scammed. Actually, like, I'm not joking you. They told him he's
getting that Sakawa done to him.
Yeah, he's really getting that internet magic done on him. They say that he's the next shaman of his tribe, which is at the north, because he had a dream about a dolphin giving him an Apple Watch or something. I was like, no. I don't know. Now he's like $9,000 in debt. I'm
Who are we to say?
And
Who are we
my,
to say?
my, my
who
little
to
my
deny
step
somebody's
siblings are
dream?
like, hey, like, when are you gonna like come back? Because like we don't know how to pay the rent. Anyway, God bless him. But yeah.
Should we play the kind of
my God,
behind
okay.
this has been?
Yeah.
It's a bit. I think it's about 12
Okay, cool.
minutes.
Yeah.
And the end, it goes a bit quiet, and we can cut it and talk a little bit too.
I
But
haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna turn
see
around
your
a bit.
dad too.
This is not an instructional. Don't try this.
Oh
guys.
yeah, it's don't.
Don't do it.
Drying the things in the dryers.
This thing. Oh yeah.
You're gonna catch the lint.
Oh right, cool. What the hell is that? Did you put that in? Yeah, mine's just like the ones upstairs. Egypt.
Yeah.
Say, look at her. Is that not exactly? That's that's him. Then that's your brother.
That's cool.
Angela looks like a Nigerian scammer.
Oh,
Look at him.
good job. Don't know where we were going. I pull up.
Right, goody.
Oh, then take him
What's the
over.
naughty? Come on, pie here.
From there to there.
Yep.
And
Alka, stainless steel and sheet metal steel fabrication. What are you thinking?
now tell the guy.
What guy? I'm running out of time, that's all I'm
Right,
saying.
yeah.
They're already. I'm checking. I was checking. Naughty human beings, Renata says. Come inside. My assistants clearly made a horror movie.
I kind of like it.
It's cool. How you going?
It's experimental cinema.
You wanna see? I'm just
Oh, look, it's good. Hello.
Hello.
Hey! We call this like a stick. Iron steel. What the guy was saying. Mine.
I took it out. Yeah.
He's
So,
drunk.
I don't know. I'm gonna still burning, but.
Yeah. You can't waste time too. Yeah. Put it.
Thinking what were you talking about? You was talking about hair dye.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Get it in through there. Use. And
Do not try that out. That's not how you're supposed to weld.
Not with the shorts.
Oh my god.
At least he's got the safety vest on.
Have you ever seen that before? High vis on top of high vis. I mean,
It's
Balenciaga who?
protection. It's
Vermont
extra,
who?
It's extra protection.
Oh my god, Ralph Simmons who?
I like. It's cool to see an artist work really closely with their family and yeah, just to kind of bring them in too. Obviously, he's like got a lot of skills. He's been welding for a long
He knows how to
time.
do
I
robotics.
can't remember. I'll check.
I'll just carry this.
And this is at your studio,
Yeah, Parramatta Art Studio.
Parramatta
You put
Artist
the raw
Studio.
beans in there. This is how this is African style. Yeah, looks good.
That looks sick.
yeah. Yeah, but still. Yes.
Oh, no.
We'll have a look, yeah.
No, because I've already tried.
Wow, you reckon he's hiding? He's embarrassed.
The screw goes through here too. Yeah, yeah. See, could have done that.
Whatever you think's easiest.
This is good, eh? And well, hold on to this for me.
was cool before there was a few groups of students, and they were like, "Oh, that's the Motorola," or pointing out like which that technology that they know.
I wanted to have it different sort of tones of gold, but it just wasn't working out too well. Yeah, lots of paint went into this.
And we got a paint named after Wraith as well.
Yeah.
It was our paint sponsors was formerly known as Blood Diamond, and now it is Wraith,
There we go.
which is deadly.
I'm so
Hames Paint. Thank you.
I've got to get myself a pot of it.
They need to make you an ad holding that too.
Yeah, I'll come. I'll do what was that one I did? Windows 11 style choreography. Let's go. Oh yeah, these dudes rocked up to my house, but he found some good chai in my neighbourhood in Indian food, so it all worked out well. He's cool, Mark Grumbly. I love that guy.
Like custom made kind of
Stillages,
stillages for it to
These-
transport it.
Those were some of the hardest things I've ever had to lift up.
Yeah, it seems
They're
heavy.
Very heavy.
I think to have such a digital kind of making practice, but also to have such a physical one is really interesting too.
Yeah, it's been fun. I want to make more physical stuff. I've always.
You're saying you need to give your eyes a break too.
Oh yeah, my eyes, my mind, yeah. I've been having dreams where I'm trapped in my software. It's terrible. Like I can't escape it. What does he mean by camera footage? I don't know. What are we annotating? Okay. Oh, he's back. Uncle Dad. Initially, the whole frame was going to be metal, but he was not listening to me as usual.
He's got his own, prerogative.
He had his own plans. Like, if it was up to him, there would have been nothing, no surface. He thought that there was no surface. Like we were just gonna have 4 stilts.
Right.
It was just gonna be an empty frame
Right.
that would see through. I don't know. I was like, okay, maybe next time, but not now.
We might leave it there,
Mm.
unless we want to keep. Yeah.
Oh.
Is it the art transport people?
They took it somewhere and put it up and. Oh.
Stressful
Naughty,
situations.
No, I only had like 3 that day. My God, serious, because I was lifting things.
Oh, okay. And then this is this is this is
me
what I
and the
wanted to see.
Oh, this damn thing froze, and then I lost it. So I was making some kente, sort of digital kente.
And that's all throughout the frame, to references to those symbols and
Yeah, the Adinkra symbols. I've modelled heaps of them. They're basically like almost like hieroglyphics or pictograms.
they have
no, sorry,
like a
not
symbol, and they
pictograms.
mean like
Yeah,
many
yeah,
things within them.
yeah. Like an emoji. Yeah, they could mean. There's one that sort of symbolizes the Anansi. There's one that symbolizes like our sort of like omnipresent sort of god Jainami. My brother's got it tattooed there. Yeah, so I made smaller versions of them. I really think that they look kind of like elements of a QR code.
Definitely.
Or a circuit board or a barcode or like a
Looks like a computer
emoji.
board or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. and even my parents didn't even notice that they were there until I really pointed out that don't you see that? And like they were like, what do you mean? What? And I had to really
What
refresh
within
their
your
memory
work?
that the Adinkra symbols were in there because they blended in so well with the rest of the
I had
thing.
I didn't really notice until I was
Yeah.
like really up close to them. And I was like,
100%.
oh, I've seen that in your studio before.
There you go. Yeah, that's me modeling them off. I'm like loving using my 3D printer at the moment. I used like different forms of plant based filament for that, and yeah, a lot of it I was not able to capture, or I haven't. Yeah,
Next time.
it's just also like making things that have so many elements in them in 3D. There's only so much I can push my computer before it's like, even if I open one more Google Chrome tab, it's gonna just shut down.
Yeah,
now.
I saw that when I came to your
And a
studio. You're
couple
like,
of
I'll bring this up, and then it was like,
it was just like no.
it's okay.
You think you're gonna open something else before you give me a rest with your 600 tabs? No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if I had
Mate,
more compute power, like things would look a lot different.
Yeah.
But then also like it's really cool to have my art advance so much, even from how it was, 2 years ago.
Definitely.
Just with the times, and that's kind of the interesting thing about digital work.
Definitely. It's been so lovely and cool just to be able to unpack, because it's so hard to put it all that into even some of the labels, and I feel like there's so many references, so it's been such a pleasure to have you here for this Art Plus Film event. Yeah. I think we're running a bit over time at the moment. I didn't know if there were any other questions or anything, but or else we might kind of leave it there. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks everybody for coming. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.